Welcome back to another episode of the Pick Six podcast. I'm here with DPZ. This one is dropping the day after Thanksgiving. So we have already eaten. Our faces are probably like double the size when this drops. But man, how you doing? Are you traveling, doing anything for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, just spend some time with family up north, my parents and my brother, and his family. Yeah, that's about
Nice.
it. Yeah,
Cool.
should be
Who does
good.
all the cooking? Do you cook or do you have like other people do
Well,
that?
we have like three different versions of it. So
Right.
Thursday we'll be up there, my brother and his family, and they'll prepare food for that day. Friday, I'm gonna have my own. We're gonna have our own Thanksgiving here at the house with our four kids, and then Saturday we go over to her parents. So we have like three Thanksgivings. If you think about it.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, yeah, I am going to the Outer Banks. Yes, like based on the show, the Outer Banks will be like those folks. Not really. Show's highly dramatized. My 13-year-old watches that. I'm like, you're not supposed to be watching this crap. But yeah, we're at the beach. The beach is nice. I like the beach when it's not 1,000 degrees out. So when it's like 60 degrees and you can go, walk on the beach, I like
Yeah,
that. So
no,
that's what I'm kind of fair skinned if you hadn't noticed. So I burn pretty easily.
no,
So all good. Okay. Well, we are
all
here to
good,
talk
man.
about this stuff. I will admit that over the last 30 days, I talked about this in my last, two videos back, a little disparaged by some of the things in our hobby as we kind of round out this year, really making me think about 2026, the direction I want to go in, what I want to do, all those sorts of things like content strategy, card collecting strategy, and all that good stuff. Dennis, do you have any words of wisdom as we round out November and we're heading into the last month of the year?
I guess what I would say is it hasn't affected much. I think the hobby's pretty strong. I thought that a lot of the auction stuff, the shilling, and all the other interesting people that were doing interesting things in the hobby would have caused some sort of disruption. I mean, probably foolish to think it would have. There's a lot of people. We look at the hobby as from an Instagram standpoint, unless you go to a lot of shows. So I think people that go to a lot of shows are, you're seeing people. There's a lot more people in the hobby than what we see on Instagram and social media. So
Yeah, it's
it's
like
pretty
people
resilient.
even know. Yeah, I don't know if the average Joe even knows anything about
Oh,
anything. I mean, hell, I don't even know. I'm in the space like every day. I don't know shit apparently.
we're
I
all
don't.
novices, man. I mean, yeah, there's people who've been in the hobby for so many years. They know so much, and there's just so many more people in the hobby than what we interact with and see. So if you go to your local LCS, you'll see people you probably don't see online. You have your people online, and you go to shows, you see all these people. So I think when these hobby dramas come down, I think all of us get excited because we have something to talk about. But outside of that, I don't think it affects much.
Yeah.
So no, I think the hobby's really strong and it's going to be resilient, and I don't think much will take it down. Maybe you're more careful about where you buy things from and do your due diligence to make sure you're not overpaying on something. And again, I think at the end of the day, when it comes to auctions, just have a discipline. Don't always factor in a 30% increase in sales over the last comp. I mean, that's probably not a good way to look at it. Just go, all right, I'm willing to pay X, and that's what I'm willing to pay. I don't care who says what, or unless it's a super low pop card, it never sells, that you have to pry out of the hands of a collector. It's a whole different game. And if you're playing in that lane, well, then you're not thinking about auctions anyway. So yeah, I think overall the hobby's fine. All these things have happened, and I've obviously been wrong a lot, and I thought maybe this have a bigger impact on the trust and all of that. Maybe it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe you're right. And there's so many different levels to it. If we're talking about like shill bidding, that's really like, the big newsworthy stuff is going to be the high, the high dollar, the high ticket items.
Yeah.
And the average Joe collector is not buying that stuff, so not to say that $50 cards and $200 cards can't get shilled, because they certainly can. I mean, I remember going back selling like Porzingis cards, Kristaps Porzingis, and it would sell like I remember thinking like, oh, cool. I sold a card. This is before eBay required like the payment, like right up front or whatever. And, it ended at like a good, strong sale for this Porzingis card. And then it was like, 5 days goes by, no payment, and then I used to wonder, like, I wonder if that person like was trying to sell other like Porzingis cards and use that as like a comp, like they didn't pay for it. And then, up until like whatever, then it went through the weekend or something. I don't know. There's so much stuff that's not paid for. I always wonder about that, you know, if that's just like the next weekend's, comp, for something else or whatever. But
Yeah.
who knows? But I guess my point is that it could be a $75 card. It doesn't necessarily have to be $100,000 card, for that to happen.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just going to be probably just really picky. I've been more picky for sure in 2025, but I think it even reinforces it more like, do I really want that thing? And what am I, sleep on it, maybe take a week to think on it. Is it something I'm never going to see again? All of the sort of stuff that we think about, if it's a 1 of 1 or out of 10 or, whatever, or if it's a vintage card that looks really nice. Because the thing with a lot of people feel like, oh, well, vintage cards, you can get those whenever, and fair enough. But I remember looking for Bart Starr rookies, and I took like 18 months to buy a Bart Starr rookie. They're out there, but finding the one that I wanted, the look of it, and then at the right price point, it took literally 18 months for that to happen. So, I mean,
yeah. I think you also have to think about your strategy too, right? Like we always talk about your strategy. I think a lot of us like to just, get cool cards when we see them. Hey, I wasn't expecting to buy this card, but there all of a sudden there it is, and I bought it. For me, I feel like what I'm wanting to do, find myself coveting some more of the bigger Griffey cards, because what's kind of fun is when you're in a Griffey community or a certain players community, it just makes it more. The collecting experience is way more enjoyable because you're all kind of chasing the same cards. You all get excited for each other when another collector of that player lands a really big card that they've been searching for, looking for a while. What all the guys in the group want. I got a small group I'm part of. Shout out to all my boys. And we all kind of know how we collect and the cards that each one of us are, for the most part, are looking for, trying to land.
Yeah.
I really want this one. I really want that one. Boy, if this one comes, I'm going to go get it. So everybody's kind of looking out for those guys, right? For all of us, we're all kind of looking out for each other. Like, oh, if you see one of these, and for me, it's a Mirror Gold 96 Select Certified. I really want one. I would love to get the PSA 9, but that one just wasn't going to happen with the card I got earlier consolidated into. But that's a card I want. So it's like, okay, I kind of want to be ready for that because I know one will come up at some point. Maybe it's a 7, maybe it's an 8, but I want to get one. So then it makes me think, okay, don't buy this or don't do that, or keep these cards over here so you can sell to go get it. Maybe throw some cash at it if you have it, kind of thing. You start sort of strategizing, and I have yet to do that really in a real earnest way. Like it's usually, oh, I found it, all of a sudden it pops up. Now I need to sell all these cards to get it, and I better go get it and then pay it off later after I sell the cards, kind of thing. That's usually the direction. That's like my habit. Whereas now it's like, I'm still fine having less, and it maybe means I'm going to have to sell a couple Michael Jordan cards to get that next Griffey card that I want, because at the end of the day, Griffey's my main guy, right? So I'll sacrifice a side PC person to get, that next Griffey card that I want if I'm able to do it, right? Unfortunately, the ones I target and love and want and covet are the ones that are, the Grail cards for him, and I'd rather have just a handful of his Grail cards than have just a ton of cards. To me, that just is more meaningful.
Are you less likely to go the route of like the side PC thing? Like, moving forward, are you like more like, I'm going to settle into Griffey, or do you still like doing kind of the side PC stuff when it comes up,
More and more, I just feel like I want to settle into Griffey. Because you kind of go, all right, I have a collection, even though it's smaller, 7 or 8 or 9 cards of Griffey. All of them are high-end, really good ones. And so like, to add another one would be really cool. I mean, I'd love to get like 10, right? Like if I have like 7 or 8, I'd love to get 10. And then now keep in mind, some of those cards aren't translated as Grails crossing over to basketball, because some of them don't cross over to basketball, like maybe the established Fleer Mystique, maybe the Mirror Golds. They do somewhat, but they don't go to basketball. Those ones are specifically Griffey. So yeah, I would want to add a couple more of those. Maybe the game patch auto out of 24 would be a cool one, or game jersey patch auto, even though it's a white napkin, that would be a cool in the target. So those are the kind of cards where I'm like, yeah, I think I might sell some of these. Like, I wouldn't call them side PC cards. I just have like 16 cards. So they're just, I've got some cards that are super rare of very good players I like, but they're like of a really cool set. And would I move that card to go get, like, would I move my Barry Bonds 24K gold to go get a Griffey of the same set? Yeah, all day. 100%, twice on Sunday.
What's the price? What's the price differential between those two? Is it the same card? Like same set, everything.
That same card out of 24, which is even cooler for Griffey. But that's like his, I would say one, if not his now, is one of the more coveted cards of his. Obviously, there's not very many of them. The last one that sold for so much. I think there's about 20, 30% mark, maybe 40% markup on Griffey over Bonds or really anybody else in that set for baseball. I haven't seen the Jeter sell, so I have no idea. But that's a card all of us want. And I've just kind of thought I'm just giving up the fact I'm going to get one because they're so expensive.
Have you seen one sell, or is there one like have you seen? Okay, so they do sell occasionally. Is it like the same one, or is it like like 3 or 4 of them that kind of come up here and there?
I haven't done all the research to see which ones they are. I know there was a PSA 10 that sold about 2 or 3 years ago, and that sold for a ton. It would sell for even more now. There was a PSA 8 that sold recently that sold for a ton, like way more than the Bonds is worth. The Bonds is a nice card, don't get me wrong, but like, but that's the mentality of like sacrifice like that, or sacrifice like the David Robinson now, or the Ray Allen 101 Superfractor. It's kind of tough to sacrifice those. So I'd probably sacrifice your tier 2, mid-grade MJ cards I still have left to go get maybe a Mirror Gold in a lower grade or something like that. That's the mentality. So I'm shifting more towards, I just really want Griffey ultimately. I think because that's what you kind of do. You do your PC audit, whatever got people like to talk about. And I look at all those cards and I go, I honestly think I would sell the Bonds, the David Robinson now.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Before I'd ever, I think that Ray Allen 101 will be the last card that's not named Ken Griffey Jr. I would sell, because I think the Superfractor 101 Topps Chrome is just such a. It's a 101. You're never getting that back. I could get another Bonds back at some point, maybe down the road. I could, probably not get back the Robinson, but I'd keep the Ray Allen 101. I think that's what I would keep, the Superfractor, to be honest.
I bought a Breeze card, and I haven't bought a Breeze card in a while, but this one popped up, and I just really like the gold. I love the gold on the black, like the gold auto on the black card. And, awesome. It's out of 10. It was $270, and I was just like, man, that's just a badass card. And it's from like 2016. And it's not like I need another Breeze auto, but I'm like, if aesthetically there's just a really nice looking, card, and these aren't going to, they're not $1,000, I mean, I'm not saying that 270 is nothing, but it's like I can add it without it, being like a huge deal.
Or without having to sacrifice a card from your PC. So you kind of still veer towards your guy, but you don't have to go get the grails. You're like, I'll be content getting that when it's a cool looking card that I want of my player I like.
I'm kind of kicking myself because there was, and this is now like 2 years ago, but his Prism Golds, there was a few of them that had popped up on eBay that were ungraded, that popped up on eBay and they sold. And I remember at the time thinking like, man, like, I think I bid like $700 and it ended at like $850 for like the 2018. I love the 2018 set too, Prism Gold, and I literally like haven't seen one since. It's like this was 2 years ago. I understand it's out of 10, but you would think like it's Drew Brees, like it should come back up, But I have not seen them pop up. Like whether it's like 2017 or 18, I just don't ever see them. And it made me think of it because like I saw your boy Worf. Now, at time of recording, this was, going back to early this week. So this is going to come out on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. But today is Tuesday. And I saw him post. It was actually kind of a cool post, but it's a Barry Sanders 2019 Prism. I think it might be a PSA 10, but it's a Pop 1. The point though is they're all like Pop 1 or 3 or something. But he was making the distinction between like they made like a 2016 Sanders Gold, but then they did not make another one until 19. So I don't think he has, or maybe he's got an 18. I don't know. Anyway, the point is that there just aren't, there aren't that many of them. And he was trying to kind of make that case in his Instagram post. And he's like, but there's one, there's one at auction now, like and it's a 2019, which is my least favorite, like from a design standpoint. 2019 Prism Golds they're all right, but like the 17s and the 18s are wicked. But
yeah,
anyway.
So you kind of go in those directions, right? I feel like I'm like honing in more. I say that now. Hopefully I'll stay to that course. But I feel like I'm honing in more. It was for a while. I was like, I just want to have a really cool card of a player I like from a lot of these cool sets. Now it's like I just really want Griffey. So there's a part of me kind of wants to get maybe one or two more really good Griffey cards that I want. Highest grade I can afford. And then just start getting some of the not so expensive cards that are cool Griffey, right? There's a couple I target that I'd like to add, like the Ultra Platinum. Forget the year, 98. That was 98.
I'll show you a card. Oh, go ahead. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just gonna.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think I'm just more focused. Like, I want to end up with more pretty much Griffey, and so, you know, depending on the card value and all that stuff, I'm probably gonna have to sell something to get a card that's more expensive than I want. But maybe I just veer and go, hey, I'll just start collecting some stuff that's not as expensive, and that's fine too. That's Griffey. It'd be fun to have more cards than just like 15 or 14 cards. So.
Oh, so yeah. Here's a card. Like, I love Marques Colston. Like, of all the Saints, you know, like Colston's a guy that I'll buy. But it's like, man, I wish this was not a BGS 10. Right. I wish it wasn't, because if this was a PSA 8 or something, then the guy would be asking like maybe $1,000 for it, and I would take a run at it. But because it's a damn BGS 10, I offered him $575. It didn't go through. So
yeah, because he's a Saint though, so it kind of makes sense because you collect Saints. So
well, and this is first year 2012, and it's gold. So I don't have any 2012 gold. So this is kind of like my chance to get one, and it's also one of my favorite players that's ever played for the Saints. But 2,500 is too rich for my blood, man. I mean, he put out an offer. I think that was at like, I think it was like $500 off, you know, or something. So it was like 2,000. But I'm just like, God, I can't spend, like, I could buy a whole moped for $2,000. I can't spend that. I can't spend $2,000 on this card.
Yeah, no, it's all depends on how important the card is for you, but yeah, you got to stick to your guns. Like, it's
if it was $1,000, but the thing is like, this is not a card. Like, if I spend $1,000 on it, there's no guarantee that I ever get $1,000 back for it down the road. You know, I mean, but
no.
You know, you're kind of relying on the set, the prominence of 2012 Prism. It's a gold, which you could make the argument that regardless of the player, these are going to be important cards down the road. But still, like, this is such a badass card. It's just not $2,500 badass for me.
I think it's a cool card because I think the set definitely is going to matter. Set collectors, you're going to be always okay with because they're going to want that card. You have BGS 10 collectors, people that like the BGS 10s, just the 2012 Prism in general, the golds. Everybody wants to collect those. He wasn't a bum; he was a good player. So I think, yeah, $2,500 seems a little steep for that guy. You probably won't get that back. But I'd be surprised down the road if you ever had to sell it, you get less than 1,000 because I mean you're gonna. Right. So I try to keep it between 1 and 1,500. That would be my price point for him.
I'm kind of with you. I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah, because then you're going to get somebody back. Someone's going to pay for the 10. Someone's going to pay for it's a gold. It's Prism. It's 2012. You know, he isn't a total, you know, nobody, but he is not on the big radar. So, yeah, I think that's kind of an appropriate range for you. But at the end of the day, you buy that guy, you're probably just buying it because you love him and that's a cool set and to have it and not really worried about resale. Those are the ones you just buy. You probably don't sell because you're not really going to, you know.
Well, and I think too, just kind of exactly what you're talking about. I think there's kind of like a floor for 2012 golds. You know, whether you're talking about basketball or football, it's probably $400 or $500. I would guess, even
probably,
for like,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
No-name players, it's probably $400 or $500. So, and he's not necessarily a no-name player, but you know, the idea. I mean, there's just not a lot of Colston collectors, clearly.
No, there's Saint collectors though. It's a team that people collect, so.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about showing this card because there are a couple people that are Saints fans that also collect, not necessarily Colston, but I've been competing with a guy on running backs. You know what pisses me off, actually? I'm just going to throw this out there as a beef. So on Instagram, there's all these like Saints card collector and blah, 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 whatever. And no offense to these guys, because I like, we communicate here occasionally on IG, but it'll be like, secured this beautiful Alvin Kamara 1-of-1 gold, you know, all this shit. And it's like, thanks to XYZ people that I know, that I also know. And I'm like, guys, can I also get a referral on one of these? At any point, can I get a damn referral? It's like, I'm on YouTube, so I'm just out of the club, you know, like, because I'm a YouTuber, they're like, I'm not telling him about this card. I'm going to go to this Saints card collector guy. And it's like, so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to wait until I'm going to sit on this. And if this sells, I'm going to find out who bought it. And I'm gonna know if they watched this and stole this out from under me. So this is a trap. This is a trap. This episode.
So just beware out there, everybody. Whoever buys this card,
I'm coming for you.
Coming for you. And you sell this guy a card, guys. Let's
yes.
Sell this guy a card.
A freaking card.
This guy's doing the Lord's work here, man. For our hobby. Let's go.
No, here's what's really going to happen. Here's what's really going to happen, Dennis, is I know this is going to drop on Friday. I'm going to have a few beverages on Thanksgiving, and I'm going to overpay.
You're going to buy the card.
I'm going to bin it. I'm going to hit buy it now. I'm not even going to make an offer. I'm just going to bin it, and overpay for the card because I'm going to be
make sure you he originally offered $500 off, so don't bid it at 25, and then you're gonna be that guy. Don't be that guy. Come back in at least under 2. That's a cool card, man. It's a BGS 10. I think those are always be cool. They're always gonna have that nostalgia value and carry a little bit more. And
it's like I have a Silver Prism PSA 10 Breeze, which is probably, I don't know, like $1,000 card maybe, but like I'll never have the 2012 Breeze Gold, like because it's literally like a $10,000 card, and I just won't. I just won't spend it.
This can be the next best thing to it, and you'd have a gold. There's only how many are there? 10, right?
Yeah, but that's the only parallel.
So
outside. So you've got.
I made a run at.
In 12, you've got green, you've got die cut red, you've got gold out of 10, and then you got 2 1 of. You got the black finite and the pylon 1 of 1. Like there's no parallels in 2012, barely any. There's no tie dye.
I would say
25.
It was it's obviously the flagship set, right? That's the big set. We talked about prisms earlier, right? Just get the prisms. But the 2012 is always going to be a big deal, and it's going to be that set that's always going to matter, carry a lot of value. I made a run at a Ray Allen PSA 7, I think a couple months back. That was one I kind of would like. I'd love to have because I don't have a 2012 gold. I would love to have a gold, and that's following my old strategy of just getting a player that I like, a card from a big set kind of thing. But then I was like, but then that'd be one of the cards I'd sell for a Griffey, right? So it's like, do I need to buy another card? I'd probably just sell for the Griffey card I really want, and that's kind of what it comes back to. And it's coming back to that for you too with the Saints and the kind of cards you want for your Saint collection. And that's your PC. That's what you focus on. So you just got to kind of always come back home to that. Like that's where you're really going to be. And should we just buy a bunch of cards that we're just going to have to sell anyway to buy that card? That's my goal going into the new year, is to not be doing that anymore. Just be focusing and waiting for that card to come up. And once it comes up, then find a way to get prepared to try to go after it if you can. And maybe you can't. Maybe that time has passed and it's gone by you. And then you're just happy for what you got. You're lucky to have what you have enough to pray over, be happy with what you got, and be like, all right, it's now I'll just collect some of these smaller, the more attainable ones that you can just go buy and not have to worry so much about, which that's where I want to get my headspace ultimately though. Because that's, I think, the healthier place to be. And then you're not having to sacrifice a card. You can actually keep your cards, that's kind of where you want to be ultimately, I think. So it's a journey. We're all on the journey together, right? We're just trying to figure it out, but it's a lot of fun. And I think that collecting aspect with the community and chasing cards, knowing what they're looking for, to me, that's just the best. It's the most fun. It's exciting, and it's great. Like I always say, this hobby is so fun because you can celebrate other people's wins when they get a card they really want. Like if you went and got that card, I'd be so stoked for you. It'd almost be like I got it, because it'd be like, oh, it's so great. Dustin got that card, man. He really wanted it. He got it, and now he has it. It's super rare. He's not going to let it go. Something about that is pretty. It's a very healthy thing for us as a hobby community to root for one another. So there you go.
That's a good point too, because it's like, okay, like if I have to start selling cards, even though that's not a Breeze card, that would definitely be way down the list of cards that I would want to sell to get into something else, because it's like not going to get another one probably, or not going to see him. I don't know if I've ever seen another 2012 Colston, like period, like in 5 years. Not that I've been like scouring the internet for one. I say that, and there's probably like 3 of them on eBay right now, and I just haven't looked. But no, I never see them. I have a save search for like gold Colston out of 10s, and I bought a 2014 gold, so I do have a gold prism, but not 12 though. 12 is just really tough to find.
It's a tough year. Well, everybody, I hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you enjoyed it. We're about to enjoy. We're obviously ahead of it here, but we'll be enjoying ours with our families. Maybe do an over/under on the comments and whether or not Dustin has a few drinky poos and ends up buying that Colston.
Check
I think
eBay. After you watch this episode, check eBay and see if that card is there still.
Yeah, let's do a little wager in the comments to see whether he goes and gets that card. All right, everybody.
All right, have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too. Take care, everybody.
See ya.